What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Financial Freedom Fastlane. Remember, the quicker you get to your dream life, the longer you get to live it. And I'm your host, George Acheampong. Today, we're going to be talking about the 3 things you must have in order to get the most out of your financial life and really your life in general. This is what I anchor myself on. This is what I stand by, and I want to share with you because I think it'll be very, very helpful. Okay? All right, first and foremost, you have to have the right belief system, okay? And I know for some people, they're gonna say this is esoteric and they're gonna click off this video because they're looking for a tactic, but trust me, this framework is going to be revolutionary for your success. You have to have the right belief system. I'm sitting in a chair right now, right? And when I walk over to this chair, I'm not shaking it, wondering if it's gonna be sturdy. I'm not like, stutter stepping when I sit down. I just plop down and sit in the chair. Why? Because I have 100% belief that when I sit down, the chair is going to support me, right? That is my belief system about the chair. And whenever you have a solid belief system, your actions align with your beliefs, i.e., I just sit down, I don't think about it, I just do it, right? So when it comes to your success, that's why belief is so important. Because if you don't believe that it's possible to be the first millionaire in your family, you won't even do the actions to achieve it because at the core, you have no belief that it's possible. And I need you guys to really understand that belief is one of the most important components of your success, right? Do you believe that it's possible for you to be a first generation millionaire? Do you believe that it's possible for you to be the first millionaire in your family? Do you believe that it's possible for you to have over $1 million in net worth? Because once you do, you will start doing the actions that align with it, right? Which brings me to my next point. In order to become the person that you want to become and build the wealth that you want to build, you have to have the right behaviors, okay? You can believe all you want. You can manifest all you want. But if you don't start doing the actions that directly align with the beliefs, it is literally impossible to become the person you want to become, right? So once you establish that belief system, and one of the ways you can establish that belief system is by getting close to it and making it real for you. Right? I know people talk down on vision boards or think it's silly, but maybe it's not a vision board for you. Maybe it's getting close to someone who has done exactly what you want to do, because then it becomes tangible. I remember my success started to take off when I started to attract clients who were making so much money, right? But they were coming to me to advise them on their finances. So I was like, wait, this is just a regular everyday person. In some regards, I'm smarter than them, right? No knock to them, like at least in the area of my expertise. And so it made it real for me that it was possible. So what rooms do you need to get in to increase your belief system? What people do you need to get around to enhance your belief system, right? We always hear the age-old quote of you're the sum total of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And the reason why that is because it makes it real for you. If you see somebody else do it, it validates that it's possible, right? So how can I get closer to the fire so that I can be warm? Now, when it comes to behaviors, it's pretty simple, right? Look at what a millionaire does, right? And look at your schedule. Look at what a millionaire does and look at your schedule and be honest with yourself. Am I actually doing the things that a millionaire does? Am I behaving as if? The easiest way to achieve something is to do the behaviors as if you already have it, because the behaviors is ultimately what yields a result, right? Oftentimes they'll look at somebody who has made it and become successful, and you'll pay attention to what they're doing now, but instead of paying attention to what they did to get it, right? So when you get close to those people, instead of saying, hey, what's in chapter 32? What was in chapter 1? What was in chapter 2? Like, what were those things that you did on a daily and consistent basis to yield the result that you're looking for? Because when you focus on the habits, the outcome is a byproduct, right? Like we don't need to focus on, if you want to make $100,000 in a year, you don't focus on making $100,000 a year. You focus on what is the daily target that I must hit, right? What is right in front of me? Because if I just focus on that, if I just hit that target, guess what? I'm more than likely going to hit the main target. But oftentimes where we get stopped and where we get stifled is that we're so focused on the end goal and it seems so far away and it seems so untangible that we get distracted. And as a result, it makes it a lot harder for us to achieve the desired outcome, right? Do what's right in front of you, right? Every single day. Those are the things you can control. There's so many things you can't control. So you're better off focusing on the things that you can, right? In order to get the desired outcome. If a recipe calls for specific ingredients, the only thing you can control is, did I use those exact ingredients in the recipe, right? If you did, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be successful, right? And success is the same thing. What is your recipe? If I want to make this much money, if I want to invest this much money, if I want to save this much money, what is my recipe for doing so, right? Could there be circumstances that could derail you? Sure, but you can't focus on that because you can't control it. If you focus on the things you can control and you make that recipe day in and day out, I assure you that when life throws whatever blows it throws at you, you'll still be in a much better place than a person who didn't have a recipe at all, right? So we must follow the behaviors after we identify the beliefs. All right, the last one is boundaries. And this is big, right? It's not about what you say no to, right? It's about what you say yes to. Because a no is a no is a no, right? Because if I say no, then ultimately nothing's gonna happen. But if I say yes to the wrong thing that distract me and detract me from what I'm trying to accomplish, then that's where I lose. Oftentimes we get distracted by the shiny ball and like, oh, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this. And as a result, that is why we don't get to where we want to go. Distractions often come dressed up and disguised as new opportunities. And you have to have the level of discernment to figure out, like, does this actually align with the mission at hand? And if it doesn't, I have to say no. It doesn't mean that it's not a good opportunity. It's just not a good opportunity for you right now relative to what you're trying to accomplish. And so that's going to be one of the hardest things, I feel like, because actually the more success you start to obtain, the more opportunities come your way and the harder it is to say no, right? Because it's like, ooh, that looks good. And even I'm guilty of this because I'm a visionary and I can literally see 10 years ahead. Like some of the things I'm doing right now, like I'm getting a lot of like praise and recognition for, but I saw these things before the pandemic, right? So for me, I'm like, finally, right? And I had to have a level of discipline as the world and as time caught up with my vision. And so if you're a visionary, you're somebody that can see exactly what you want, I understand that the enemy of vision is sight, right? The ability to see clearly what you want to achieve is good, right? Because you can see it, but it's hard because you want it right now. But you have to create boundaries in place to achieve the things you want to achieve. One quote that I love and I live by is, boundaries are the distance at which I can love you and myself at the same time. Because if I say yes to everything and everybody, the person I'm not going to say yes to most of the time is myself. Why is it that you can have space on your calendar for something that's just for you? It's not a meeting. You don't got to go pick your kid up. It's like, I blocked this off, but someone calls you or someone needs something from you and say, hey, are you free? And you'll say to yourself, well, technically, all I have to do is this thing for myself and I can move that around. So yeah, I'm free. You got to start treating your goals, your dreams, your visions as if you had an appointment with the president. Not this president, but you get what I'm saying, right? You got to start treating it that way, because if not, if you don't believe in you, if you don't believe it's important enough, why do you expect anybody else to? Just because there's no obligation to someone else for that meeting, or you don't have to pick up your child or whatever the case may be, doesn't mean that it's not important. Stop shuffling around the time for your priorities just because someone else needs you. Now, again, there obviously is extenuating circumstances, right? One of my other favorite quotes is that compassion requires interruption. So if I'm working on something and my son comes home from daycare, I'm gonna close the laptop, I'm gonna greet my son, I'm gonna talk to him, I'm gonna play with him. That's different. But what I'm saying is you had dedicated time and someone just wants to catch up and wants to dump on you or wants you to do something for them, they can wait, right? Someone else's fire drill is not your emergency. Do not set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. If you don't keep those boundaries, all you'll do is actually start to resent the people that you want to love, right? And so what that might look like is say, hey, I really appreciate that, and I can understand that's probably really important to you. I have some things I'm working on right now that really don't allow me to allocate additional time to that. Please don't take it personal. You know that I love you, but I won't be able to achieve the things that I need to achieve that really matter to me if I take my focus off from this. When and if that changes, I'll be the first one to call you, right? It's okay to say that. There are certain people you owe some things to, but like, you don't have to, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't have to like justify, right, your actions for you becoming the best version of yourself, right? And so I just wanted to give you guys this mental framework because no, it's not X's and O's around like, hey, invest in this stock tomorrow to avoid what's happening with the tariffs. But like, I look at your mindset and your belief system and your behaviors and your boundaries as the mental frame for how you make decisions, almost like a filter, right? And so it doesn't matter how much water you pour into your cup, right? If the cup is dirty, the cup is dirty. If it's not coming from a purified system, it's not coming from a purified system, it's gonna be dirty water. So like, I don't care about you just doing things to do the things. I want you to do the things from the right frame. And this is a frame that should really serve me well. So as we enter into this next quarter of the year, I hope that you use this framework on reestablishing your belief system, right? Realigning your behaviors, and most importantly, establishing your boundaries so that you can achieve unprecedented success for the rest of the year. Thanks again for tuning into an episode of Financial Freedom Fastlane. Remember, the quicker you get to your dream life, the longer you get to live it. Freedom is for sale if you're willing to pay the price. Peace.